There is a moral element to your philosophy and to your actions in government. How is it justifiable to make poor people even poorer by, as in the case of parents with misbehaving children, taking away their child benefit?
First of all, this isn't directed at poor people. It would be directed at those that were falling down on their duty of responsibility for their own children. And secondly, you might as well say that a family that is of a low income should never be fined, should never have any form of its benefits withdrawn. I mean, we don't say that.
Are you going to do it?
We are looking at it, we're examining it very seriously, because I believe that with a government that is putting a massive amount of money into helping young people off benefit and into work, huge amounts of money into programs like Sure Start and better nursery education, making a big investment in our education system, we are entitled to demand from parents some minimum responsibility back for society. And to say, if your child is engaged in persistent truanting, refusing to cooperate, and the police and the education welfare officers and the school and everyone is at their wits' end, well, I'm sorry, but we shouldn't carry on paying out benefit to you in circumstances where you're not prepared to give anything back to society.
That sounds as if you're going to do it.
Well, we're examining it. We've got to examine it to make sure it's practical. But as a matter of principle, I think it is right that with benefits come responsibility.
What about the idea that is contained in Frank Field's bill of removing housing benefit?
I support that. I support the idea that if you get people who are convicted of antisocial behaviour and who, again, have had every chance in most of these cases in behaving properly, and they refuse to do so, and they're making life hell for all their neighbours, then why should the state carry on paying out benefit to those people, subsidising their housing when they're using their housing to inflict misery on other people? And, you know, it's difficult probably for people like us to understand what it's like to live on an estate when, you know, you get one family in an area, and it's not, the vast majority of people in these areas are law-abiding, decent people, but you get one family or two or three families that make life absolute and total hell for people. And it's just, it's not right.
How is making them homeless going to make them behave better?
Well, you know, I'm afraid in the end, you might as well say, why is it right that you punish anyone for anything? You know, in the end, if people are given every chance to behave responsibly, you've got to protect other people who suffer the consequences of their irresponsibility.
Even if that means a family becoming homeless?
Well, if it means evicting them from the place that they are, and as you know, some families have been evicted with the antisocial behaviour orders, but I'm afraid, in the end, what happens is in those areas, the other families can live in a bit of peace and quiet. And, you know, I think it's... You asked me about my beliefs earlier. What I think, and I hope I've done, is in one sense return to a very old-fashioned left-wing idea and value. And that is the value of responsibility. Responsibility to other people, which is why it's so important that society takes measures to help people in poverty and lift them out of poverty, but also responsibility to society, to put something back. For it not all to be take, there's got to be some give as well. And I find, you know, I mean, just to give you an example, I mean, when you see, you know, gangs of young people, and again, the vast majority of young people behave well, incidentally, and young people are the victims of a lot of this crime. So we're not stigmatising all young people. When you see gangs of young people out of control, making life hell for local people, often elderly, vulnerable people, it's not right. I mean, I don't know how I justify that. And therefore, it's not harshness or being right-wing or Tory or any of the rest of it. It's simply saying to people, in the end, society, community, that basic thing that I do believe in strongly, community, it's a deal. It's not a one-way street. It goes both ways, the opportunity and the responsibility.
When you go back to those old